All right, third grade. Today we are going to draw our cardinal to go onto our evergreen background. This is a following along drawing video, so you guys are going to be following along these steps while I'm drawing on the screen. I'm going to be showing you two different ways you can draw a cardinal. One way is going to be his wing is down, like he's sitting on a branch. The other way, his wing is going to be up, like he is flying. So you can choose which one you are going to draw. So I'm going to be drawing both kind of at the same time, but you're picking which one you want to be drawing along with me. You guys are going to be drawing with a pencil so that you can erase if you need to. I'm going to draw with a Sharpie so that you can see it on the screen. So the first cardinal I'm going to be drawing is the wing down cardinal. So this is the one that's sitting on a branch. So we're going to draw his wing first. It is a teardrop shape. So I'm going to make a point on my paper and a V. So my V is kind of pointing towards the corner of my paper. Then I'm going to connect the top of that V with a curved line. So that's an easy way to draw a teardrop shape. And if you are doing the wing up bird, you are going to do the same thing, but your wing is going to point the other way. So he's going to have a point. Well, I'm going to turn it like this. So he's going to have a point, a V pointing down, and a curved line. So for the wing down bird, we're going to start drawing his head now. So I'm going to draw at the top of this curved line a little zigzag line that's starting to point backwards a little bit. And then I'm going to draw a curve for the front of his head. So for the wing up bird, it's going to be kind of something similar. So the back of his head, zigzag line, and a curve. So for the wing down bird, we're going to start drawing his body. So I'm going to curve this in just a little bit more. And then I'm going to draw a longer curved line that's going to wrap underneath his wing. And for the wing up bird, we're going to do the same thing. So curve it in a little bit more. And his body is actually going to curve past his wing because he's not sitting on a branch. His body's more extended a little bit. So it's kind of like a boat shape almost underneath his wing. So I'm going to go down and up past his wing. And then I'm going to connect that straight line into his wing. So like half of a boat shape. So for the wing down bird, we're going to start on his mask. So cardinals have that black feathers on their face, so it looks like a mask almost. So I'm just going to draw a curved line and then a little extension curve. We can add his eye in there. And I like to add a little spot in the eye, so the eye is going to remain white, and then we're going to fill in this around black. And sometimes I like to leave a little white spot around the eye so you can see it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on this bird, except it's going to go the other way. So you could also do just an oval shape for the mask, and you could do that on this one too if you want. And then the beak, we're just gonna do a slightly curved line. Slightly curved line. And then a straight line on the bottom. And then you can add just a little bit of a curve on the bottom of that. Okay, so for our cardinal that is sitting on a branch, we're gonna make his tail. So underneath his wing, we're gonna do 2 straight lines. Make mine a little bit longer, actually. And then a jumping line. And then every time that line jumps up, we're going to draw a straight line. Okay, and then for our bird that's flying, his tail is kind of going more straight out. So at the back of his tail, or at the back of this point where his body is, we're going to draw a straight line. And then the kind of like curved straight line, jumping line, and lines in. Okay, so on both of these birds, we are going to add just a little bit more detail on their feathers before we color them in. So I am going to add a few curves. So like a letter U, overlap, U, U. So like 3 letter U's that overlap each other. And then this one's going to be the same thing, except for it's going to go up since it's pointing in a different direction. So U, U, and U. Then on this one, I'm going to start adding the feather texture. So just out of those U's, I'm going to draw some diagonal lines that go to this point. And then same thing for this one. Okay, so since we're cutting these out, we're not going to draw any feet because those are really hard to cut. So at this point, we're going to stop and start coloring them in. So we're going to use oil pastels for this since they are really, really vibrant and easy to blend. We're also going to add just a little bit of shading to these so they look more realistic. So I'm going to find a red oil pastel and fill in the body, the wing, and the tail. And I'm pressing hard on my pastel, so I do not have white paper showing through. We want this to be solid color. Okay, so then his beak is going to be orange. Okay, so now we're gonna find a brown oil pastel and we're gonna add a little bit of shading. So we're gonna add shading wherever something is going to look round. So like the belly, the wing a little bit, and anywhere that we want it to look like there's a shadow or things overlapping. So a little bit on the tail feathers and the wing feathers. So with my brown oil pastel, I'm going to start adding just like a little bit of a thick line on his belly. Okay, and then I'm going to just do a little bit underneath his wing too. And now under this jumping line that we made on the wing, I'm going to outline that. And those lines that are going back to the point. If you want to add some little short lines for the back of his feathers on his head, you could do that. And add a few brown outlines on his tail. So now I can take my red pastel again, especially on the belly, and I'm gonna just kind of blend that in with my red pastel. That just kind of softens it up a little bit, makes it look more like a shadow instead of an outline. So now you can do that to the rest of your shadow lines that you just drew. Just kind of blend them in with red. Okay, so here's my cardinals just a little bit closer so you can see that shadow really made them way more dimensional, and these will really pop when we put them on our evergreen background. So once your cardinal is finished, you're going to cut them out along the outline. And I am being really careful to try to cut off all my white paper, so I don't want to leave like a big white outline like that around anything. I want to go right up next to my Sharpie line. All right, so now once your cardinal is cut out, you can grab your background that you painted last time, and you can choose where you would like to place your cardinal. So if you cut out the sitting one, he could be sitting on a branch, or the flying one, he could just be kind of flying in some of the spaces that you left in your branches. So I'm gonna use my liquid glue and glue him to a branch. So the last step today is I've got some white paint and a paintbrush, and I would like this to be more snowy and wintry. So I'm gonna add some snow in mine. So wherever you see some sky peeking through, you can use the back of your paintbrush, this plastic part, dip it in your paint, and then you can stamp some dots of snow. And then you can use the front of your paintbrush to paint some snow on the branches. So I'm just gonna paint a little bit, kind of like sitting on top of the branches a little bit, maybe on top of my pine needles, just a tiny bit. I don't wanna cover them up too much. I just wanna add a little bit to look like this is snowing and he's kind of hiding in the branches from the snow. So wherever you see a branch, the snow would go on the top because that's where it would fall from the sky. All right, so there is our winter evergreen tree with our cute little cardinal bird. And we used so many different parts of art in this. We used texture and lines and shapes and all kinds of things in our artwork. So when you're finished today, you can put this on the drying rack and clean up your table.